Annoying. Would you let me try?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm useless and Rachel's the boss, isn't she? Let's let it. Well,
I-
Rachel, would you like another one, just in case you didn't do the first one?
No, I think one would be...
I'll just leave it there just in case you change your mind.
No, I like a one clipper. Aurelia has cerebral palsy and she uses an electric wheelchair to navigate the school environment. And she wasn't able to go to school because there were no appropriate toilet facilities in school. There needed to be modifications to the building. And because the planning hadn't been done for that, from her transfer from P7 into first year, she was unable to attend school because there was no toilet for her.
Good.
Oh, it looks amazing, doesn't it? You look fantastic. For 4 months, the Children's Law Centre spoke to the Education Authority, wrote to the Education Authority and spoke to everyone involved with Aurelia's case. And for those 4 months, she sat at home while we battled on her behalf. Do you have too much homework?
Yeah, sometimes I think...
When I was speaking to Aurelia, I mentioned to her that I was giving evidence to the Education Committee at Stormont and asked if it would be all right to tell her story to them because they're a scrutiny committee of the executive. And she said that would be okay, and in fact she said, I want the government to know my name. This child is a very special young woman, a 12-year-old girl, and her name is Aurelia. So we're not using an anonymity, we're not using a fake name. We could have chosen any name we wanted. No, her name is Aurelia, and she is a very, very talented and very smart and insightful young woman. She was very excited like everybody else. She'd been to a mainstream primary school all her life. So she put forward her local school that all her friends and all were going to, and that one of her brothers attends. And it turned out, in her words, they wouldn't let me go there. She chose a second school where another sibling attends, one that she's familiar with. She's been there on the open day. She's been down all the corridors in her wheelchair. She's seen all around it. They wouldn't let me go either, she said. And she said what hurt me the most was that they didn't even try. She said, I think all they needed was probably a small ramp and a few adjustments. I needed some adjustments. And it really hurt me that they didn't even try. And the Education Authority, she said, they tried a bit, but they didn't fight. They didn't fight for me to go to my school. And everybody else was celebrating. They were celebrating their school, my school. But I had nothing to celebrate. I was sitting there, I had nothing to celebrate.
Chair, I'm going to suggest that the committee write to Aurelia in particular, because Aurelia felt that people weren't listening, but this committee absolutely will be listening. So if we could agree that.
Yeah. I think all members will agree that.
And I'd like to offer Aurelia, if she wants to visit Stormont, I'll give her a personal tour, because a young person like that who's shown such bravery in and around waving her right to anonymity is incredibly special.
Absolutely amazing, and I think she could lead the country someday, so you could be on to something there.
I would say she would do a better job than some of us have been doing.
The Education Committee were so touched by Aurelia's story that they really wanted to meet her in person, and therefore they invited her to come and speak to them up at the Assembly.
I'm so confused.
What's that?
I'm so confused.
What are you confused about?
I don't know, I just am.
You don't know what you just are? Well, it's a very big occasion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you not disturb?
Okay.
There's so many.
So Aurelia, can you tell us a bit what it was like when you were trying to get yourself sorted in school and you weren't able to?
Sad,
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
It's really bad that they even considered doing this, and it's just, if you can't help one child and have to make that child get their own lawyer and to get someone to help them and have to wait 4 months for it, they're not even doing their job.
These are not numbers, they're not statistics, they're not policy, they're not process. They are human beings with feelings and potential and ability that is being wasted and walked over. They're not second-class citizens. They're just as good, if not better, than everybody else because they've had to fight harder for every gain that they've made.
They're making the parents suffer for not being able to get out and doing stuff. They're making the children's mental health go down the drain because they won't do anything about it, and all they do are giving a crap apology.
This is the level that we have actually sunk to in our education system. This is an easy case. This child was in primary school for 7 years and we could see her coming.
EA still have not put in personal hygiene space for Aurelia, and that's ongoing.
If you had to come to some of the MLAs, you probably wouldn't have got the same result as going to Rachel.
If we have 2,000 children with unmet need and we know they're sitting there, we need to find out 5, 10 paths that we can send them down. It's not necessarily a statement on a classroom assistant, but there's really nothing else there at the minute.
You have given us lots of ideas.
It's just like reasonable adjustments are okay, but there isn't enough of the reasonable adjustments.
I think what you're saying is we need to move beyond reasonable adjustments
Basically.
and make sure that any avenue is open to people like yourself.
All you're asking for is that the obstacles that are in your way be removed, and you, as best we can, make sure that you have the same opportunities as everybody else, and that's not too much for anybody to ask.
As a result of her speaking up and telling us all this story, the Education Authority has issued a written apology and has promised to change their process so that they'll start a year earlier to do these transitions in primary 6. So I think Aurelia should take congratulations for that, because she has changed things for the children who are coming behind her. She's a bit of a trailblazer, if you like. Over the time that I've been working together with Aurelia, I have been so impressed by how wonderful of a rights advocate she has become. She knows all the language of rights, she knows her own rights, and she knew when her rights were not being respected. And she is one of the most articulate young people I've ever met. Don't carry these worries in yourself. You tell about them like you have. Speak up. You have a good voice, haven't you? You know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.